A warm welcome to this week Renewal Nugget, which is part one of a series with several questions that I feel are central to our existence and central to preventing burnout and in general to flourish and grow as human beings. Does the soul exist? And if so, how do we know that? And how do we understand this thing, soul, from a scientific, psychological, but also spiritual and ancient Christian faith? And why does it even matter? Does it matter? Is it connected to burnout and renewal? And the flip question is, can we live without awareness of our soul and even the divine? Because it's one more thing to be aware of, one more thing to take care of. And who wants to have one more thing on their plate when we're already busy? But in this series, I argue that it does matter. The sense of and presence of our soul and the experience, intimate experience for every human being of their own soul is essential. And of course, we can ignore it, but it can come at a high price. Because if we do have one, if there is a connection to something higher than ourselves through our soul, wouldn't you want to know it in your lifetime? We only have one life. So not just that what others are talking about it and studying and researching and looking at scientific research or psychological research or looking at other people's writing and experiences, which are wonderful. We need that. And I'm actually going to cover this in a few parts, but also from your own personal existence in your inner universe. I like to be really practical because this is the only universe we can have truly access to, our inner world, through our perceptions, through our thoughts, through our emotions, and our body sensations. So if you don't know me, I'm Dr. Ioana Popa from Team for the Soul, and we help compassionate professional and caregivers to regenerate daily, to prevent burnout, complete grief, and transform towards higher potential. And we do this through our various programs. We have one-to-one and group coaching, but we also have interdisciplinary online courses. We present at workshops and conferences, and we also have a membership program for Christians. And you can find us at teamforthesoul.com, online world, and also on Facebook and Instagram or on YouTube. And we bring lots of values and free resources. And you can also learn about our programs. Again, teamforthesoul.com. And with that, let's dive in. About 3 decades ago, being in medical school full of curiosity and scientific zest, I consider myself an atheist. Mind you, I grew up in a communist country where God didn't exist. But someone on TV really brought this question to me. Well, if God exists, wouldn't you want to know about God? And I'm like, that made me really curious. So I did ask just that. I pray, hey, God, if you exist, I want to know you. I don't believe you exist. I was really authentic. I'm like, I don't think you exist, but if you do, I kind of want to know you. And that just opened up this experience not too long afterwards to encountering my own sense of self, my own awareness, and my own soul, and with something that was much larger than me, that was full of love, full of unconditional love, that was just so mind-blowing. So this was not a mind exercise. This was not an emotional experience. I didn't hear voices or see things. It was just a tapping into something that I had no idea I had. And it all started with me wondering if there is something outside of me, if there is an intelligence in this universe, don't I want to know it in my lifetime? And if there's something inside of me, connects with me, don't I want to know it in my lifetime? And the answer was, yes, I do want to know it, not just from what other people are saying, what they're right about, which is awesome. I can learn, I can look at scientific research and psychology and religion and whatnot, but also to have that intimate connection. In theology, this is called primary theology, meaning the inner connection with the divine through our whatever it's inside of us, versus secondary theology, when we're just reading the books, we're reading on Facebook, we read on scientific research, we're reading textbooks and texts written by our predecessors through their experiences of God, but it's not our own. And I linked here the soul with God because just the language that I use, you might not use this word, God, but there is something inside that is beyond our thoughts, beyond our emotions, beyond our body sensations or perceptions, that is so important. And we cannot find that without asking the question and be really authentic and curious. Now, decades later, I did burn out. So I knew about the sense of soul and a sense of awareness that I had inside of something that's higher than me, that is loving, that it's peaceful, that has my back. But nonetheless, through everything that I've learned from medical school to mental health practices, including various practices, religious practices, which are wonderful, I found I still burn out. And the reason for that, fast forward, I've discovered that it has to do with full alignment of the way our thoughts are working, the way our emotions are working in our body, and have them aligned with our soul, with our spirit, with our true self, however you call it. So if you're really passionate about giving and passionate about helping others and are wondering how can you do this and sustain this without burning out, the key here is alignment and regeneration, and using self-care programs that will help renew on a mind level, on an emotional level, and also on a body levels, but infuse that with the soul, infuse that with a true self and with awareness and that sense of sacredness, the sense of awe. And you might wonder, what is this soul, true self that we have? It can be experienced by people as a center of our being, a ground of being, when we are like the eye of the storm. Or some people experience it everywhere. It's like the glue that holds us together, that holds the emotions and thoughts and body sensations. So what does it matter? Well, on a practical level, when we try to stay connected with ourselves throughout the day, we might get really busy. There is a way to do self-care, to take care of our emotions, to take care of our thoughts and our body in such a way that we infuse it with awareness. We infuse it with what's really close to us and dear in our sacred space through our soul. And that's what's going to move the needle in the long run. I mean, we might feel really great at a retreat. We might feel really great over the weekend. We might feel excited and full of relaxation and joy until the next moment when we're triggered. And it is through daily practices of tapping into our soul or tapping into our true self that can actually have an impact long term. Now, it's kind of growing like a muscle. It's not going to have strong effects right away, because whenever we notice a big shift right away, this is wonderful, but usually is not sustainable, because just the way we are built, any emotion will pass, thoughts will pass, the amazing experience that we might have, they all pass, they come and they go. But what's at the center, our soul, our true self, it's untouched, unharmed, and is that eye of the storm, that peace that surpasses all understanding, and we all have access to it. And we do not have to spend hours and hours and hours in meditation, although that could help. We don't have to spend 20 years in the desert, although that could help. We don't have to go to every year to a retreat, although that could help. There are ways to also access this on a daily basis. And that's what I'm so passionate about. So I teach this in the Renewal in Action program, because there is a way to combine all things and do practices in a way that we don't have to disrupt our life. And in the same time, we can connect with what's really dearest to ourselves. And the take-home message for that, if you have discovered that space in yourself, that's wonderful. Keep practicing and really infuse any daily habits and any daily rituals that we have with that glitter of awe and awareness and just presence. If you haven't experienced this, rest assured that this is available and possible to us all we need is to ask. It's not by addition. We're asking, we're making the invitation to the universe, to our soul. Do you really exist? By asking the question, hey, do you really exist? Do I really have a soul? And then as we ask the question, kind of let it go and just be curious and stay present and notice what is beyond your thoughts, your emotions, and your body sensation. What is that glue? What is that blue sky in between the clouds? It's kind of like I don't know if you've seen those foreground, background images. We might look at an image and it looks like a vase, or you might look a minute later and it looks like two people talking, or it could be a duck. And if you look from a different angle, all of a sudden, this is a bunny. So it's the same thing with awareness. Awareness, we cannot really strive for it and find it. It's more as we relax our thoughts, we relax our emotions, and we just ask the question like, who am I beside my past history, besides my role, my future? Who am I as just a living being? And with that, it just takes some trials and unexpectedly, like it happened to me many times, that's how it happens to people. We tap into awareness. In the next few episodes, I am going to talk about how to really think about the existence of soul and true self from a scientific and psychological perspective. Believe it or not, there's research around that. And also how to experience this and think through this as a Christian, an ancient Christian faith and spiritual care, and also what to do with this. Okay, so I know I'm aware. I know I have a soul. How can this prevent me so I can continue to give to others with joy and energy and really infuse myself in all my rituals and all my habits so I can feel regenerated and joyful as I live in this earth? And with that, I say goodbye for now and thank you for being you and for all you're doing in the world. And it's so great to connect this way through space and time in this way. And I say goodbye for now.